Hey, everybody, welcome to That Expert Show, where you help run the show. I'm Anna Canzano. Thanks so much for being with us today. We're talking all about CBD today, the products out there that are so trendy right now. They're everywhere. They're in pet stores, I've seen. You can give them to your dogs and your cats to calm them down or help with their anxiety. And really, it comes in all different forms. There's drops, there's little salves, there's all kinds of things. And if you're like me, you're not an expert on this. Like, there's a difference between hemp and CBD and actual products that have THC that can get you high. In the world of recreational marijuana, this is all coming about, and so I figured it would be a good time to do an episode on this. Our expert today was diagnosed with osteoarthritis at the age of 45, and that's when she started researching CBD. Now, since then, she has tried 150 different products. Like I said, it comes in many different forms. She also was on Xanax for 18 years until she started doing the CBD and then found that she no longer needed the Xanax. So she's on a mission, really, to educate people. And about a year ago, she started to sell the product through a company called NewYou. Joining us live from Broomfield, Colorado, which was land of the first state to actually legalize medical marijuana and then recreational marijuana. Dena Royer joins us live. Dena, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
So, Dena, let's start off just by laying things out pretty clearly here. We're not trying to play doctor here with this episode. You don't have a medical degree. I don't have a medical degree. And so much of what you learned about CBD has been from your own personal experience and from, just using it yourself and researching that you've done over the years.
Absolutely. And not only, for myself, my family, and probably over, close to 1,000 people that I've helped with CBD in my 7 years.
So I'm really curious about this because I think there is a lot of confusion. People don't know, is CBD like something you smoke? Is it something you eat? And how is it different from hemp and the normal forms of marijuana that, we've been accustomed to either using or seeing over the years?
Well, there's two different plants. They're both under the cannabis plant. One is the hemp plant. It grows really tall, kind of looks like bamboo. And then you have the marijuana plant. Both of the plants contain CBD, but hemp has the most abundancy of CBD versus THC in the marijuana plant. So there are very, very small trace amounts of THC in a hemp plant. Most of the products that are for consumers today are extracted from the hemp plant, and most of them have zero THC because we have the ability to take that cannabinoid out.
Interesting. Okay. And that's why, that explains why you can see it being sold just about anywhere, because people don't have to have special, legal dispensary type licenses to sell the product.
Correct. Anything that's sold in a dispensary is derived from the marijuana plant, and there is THC in it.
I see. So, and again, I'm going to start at the very basic fundamental level here. If you use a CBD product that is derived from a hemp plant that you're buying in a normal store versus a dispensary, you shouldn't feel any sort of effect like you're high off of it.
No, you will not feel effect of being high.
Okay.
You will feel something that's called the entourage effect, and it's called your homeostasis. It brings your body back to the way it's supposed to function, but you would never have any psychoactive effects.
Interesting. So what do people use CBD for?
Anywhere from sleep problems, anxiety, inflammation, pain, Crohn's disease, cancer. It really will help with most everything. People that have migraines, people that have fibromyalgia, it's been really, really good for, because in your body you have two main receptors. One's in your brain and one's in your stomach. So anything that's neurological or autoimmune, digestive, it's extremely good for any of that kind of stuff.
That gut-brain connection.
Pets as well.
And what's that?
What's that? And pets as well, because in our body we have a cannabinoid system just like they do. The only thing that doesn't is an ant and a spider. So all the things that we suffer from, anxiety, depression, arthritis, mobility, all of that, animals have that as well. So they can utilize CBD and have symptom-free lives just like us.
Interesting. I was saying that gut-brain connection is fascinating. I've been kind of studying that over the years as well. So, again, to be clear, you're saying that a lot of people who get diagnosed with all those different ailments that you just mentioned, Crohn's disease, cancer, and whatnot, a lot of people have found success and a positive impact in using CBD products, but no one who actually knows anything about CBD will claim that it will cure any of those ailments, right?
No, not at this time. Doctors are getting more on board with it all, and I'm sure as time goes on, things will come out. But as of right now, we just say it will aid in reducing the symptoms of X, Y, or Z.
Right. Speaking of doctors, this topic was really popular on social media. We always post about our topic leading into the show so that you, as the audience, contribute your questions and we can get you answers. And a lot of people had questions about CBD. Let's start with the one about the doctor, because Carol on Facebook said, can your doctor drop you as a patient or stop pain medication if you are using CBD products? And you disclose that to him or her.
To my knowledge and in my experience, I've never heard of that. And the one really good thing that people should know about CBD is it doesn't interact or interfere with any medication you're currently taking. So hopefully the person who is on pain meds will be able to get off of them if they incorporate CBD. And I never, ever, ever recommend cutting something off cold turkey. Wean yourself off of whatever you did. I mean, it took me like 6 months to get off of Xanax with incorporating CBD. So it's not a process that will happen overnight, and everybody is completely different. So
Sure.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. So I think maybe sometimes people confuse CBD products with, products derived from the marijuana plant that actually have THC, right? That might be a circumstance in which a doctor says, hey, if you're going to be using that stuff, then you have to make a decision here on which route you're going to take. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of that out there. And, there's a lot of doctors that are still, on the pharmaceutical route. And there's a lot of things that, pharmaceutical companies need to be here for. But there's also a lot of things that can be helped naturally. And CBD will help aid in a lot of natural healing. So if it is derived from marijuana, I could see how they might have a problem with it.
Yeah. A different Carol on Facebook wants to know, she says her mom has RA, which I assume means rheumatoid arthritis, and would love to know what would work well for her. Not into smoking, but would like to find out what is recommended. You don't normally smoke CBD, right?
Yes, you can smoke CBD unless you take something through an IV. Smoking is the third fastest delivery system into your body.
Okay.
So being that she doesn't want to smoke, I completely understand with that. A lot of people don't. Taking something sublingually would be the best. You can put anything on CBD wise topically, but it only goes down 2 layers in your dermis. So you'll notice some immediate results, but it's not going to be, it's like a Band-Aid basically. So you want to always treat something internally because that's where the problem is internally.
Interesting. And so you mean sublingually, like you can put droplets under your tongue?
Correct.
And that's considered internally? Like
that's considered internally, but the delivery system is sublingual. So You're sticking it on your tongue because that gets into your system fastest. But I also noticed, if you don't mind me saying this, I noticed somebody wrote something about the products that I endorse, and the reason why I chose this company, I just have to say this because it's super important, is technology. So when you're out there shopping for stuff, know that the delivery system is really important, because a lot of products get wasted. If it's like a hard pill, think of a vitamin versus a liquid vitamin. You're going to get more benefits from the liquid than you are from the hard pill. So think about that when you're picking a supplement like CBD. If it's something that's water soluble, it's going to get into your system faster and you're going to absorb more. And that's why I chose the company that I'm with, because of the bioavailability from the product. You take it, it absorbs immediately, and you absorb 95% of what you took, versus something that was in a capsule form or a hard pill or even an oil, because our body is made up of water, and oil and water don't always jive, so it doesn't absorb as well into your body. Even though that's the way I take it, there are other preferred methods. It's very individual. It's trial and error. That's why I've tried so many different products. You just have to figure out what's best for you.
Do some people vape CBD too? I know you mentioned smoking, but do some people put it in one of those little vape thingies and do it that way?
Sure do. I do. Yep. But a lot of people are opposed to that because there's things coming out about it causing popcorn lung, anything you vape. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel less likely that something like that would happen from CBD. I do it. I don't do it as often. Like if I'm in, pain and I need it to go away pretty quick, I can hit my vape pen.
I
Because
see.
the way I take stuff, it takes about 45 minutes to start noticing effects.
Okay. Interesting. Jeannie on Facebook said her husband read recently that it was tested on rats and liver damage was found in them. Do you know anything about that?
I've never heard of an adverse effect on anything. I mean, like I said earlier, CBD is in breast milk. It's 100% natural. It's not harmful in any way, shape, or form, and you can't take too much. That's a beautiful thing. A lot of people, well, what's my dose or what's my recommended? It's basically you're your own best subject. So you have to take, you take enough till you start feeling better. And
But
the
that
other really
feels,
great thing,
yeah. Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
I just, I have to question you on that because, like, a lot of things are natural. Like sugar is natural, and
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean necessarily that I should eat as much of it as I want. Like even though it's natural, there is a point at which like I can have too much and it can make me sick. So how I guess I don't understand that. Help me understand that concept that you can't really do too much CBD.
Well, you can't OD on it, and
Okay.
nothing adverse would happen to you from taking. I mean, I have a few people that are on 1,000 milligrams a day, and then you have professional athletes that can take six.
Hmm.
So, in Mike's, like Montel Williams at one point was taking 600 milligrams a day for his MS. So everybody's body is so completely different. And the reason why it's so unique is because your endocannabinoid system is like your DNA. No two are alike, and depending on your deficiencies will dictate how much you actually need.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I myself have taken several hundred milligrams a day and nothing bad happened to me. I felt fantastic. I slept great. My mental clarity was great. My energy was great. My mobility was great. So, and the other really good thing is it's not something that builds up a tolerance in your body. So you have to keep taking more.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's the other way around. Once your body gets under control, you'll actually have to take less
Interesting.
in most cases.
So is there, I mean, if you wanted to just branch into this realm, where would you go for advice? I mean, because most of us are used to, if we're starting something new when it comes to our health, you want to start a new diet routine, you consult a nutritionist or a dietitian. You want your teeth fixed, you go to a dentist. Like, where do you go for information that you can trust and look up and research on CBD?
Well, the internet is your best friend. And when people ask me, will it help with this or that? Even though I usually know the answer to it, I always say, Google it. Google your condition and CBD. And then it comes down to, a know, like, and trust. Most people are exposed to CBD now. It's because it's so on the forefront. I just talk to people
Mm-hmm.
and say, what are you using? Where do you get it? And, I was always that person that they were asking, I know you used it. Where did you get this? And I would
Mm-hmm.
say, well, I would go here to get this and I would go there to get that. And then now I can say, well, I use my products, even though I do use other stuff too, because the company that I'm with only has a few products and there's other things that I like to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, it's really trial and error with a lot of that stuff, but I would go to a reputable source. Don't buy it at a gas station. Don't buy it off the street. I mean, go to a reputable, but people are doing it. I mean, it's just crazy. It's especially in Colorado, it's
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, and we have a lot of really reputable companies here. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not so hard to find good quality stuff here. But go with a company that's, A, been around, B, has a money back guarantee. Look at the ingredients in the product. If it's like $20, it's probably not going to be a quality product. If it says hemp oil, I would stay away from it because a
Hmm.
lot of people have this misconception that CBD is hemp oil. It's not. Hemp oil is a carrier oil like olive oil, canola oil. It's not CBD.
Interesting. Okay. And that can be confusing as well because they may just be using something that might not be doing really anything for them because it doesn't have the CBD in it.
Correct.
Okay. Debbie and Gail both on Facebook want to know about sleep. Debbie says she wakes up in the middle of the night, can't go back to sleep. What do you recommend? And would it interfere with her heart medication?
It will not interfere, to my knowledge, it's not been interfering with any medication. CBN is the sleep cannabinoid. So some people are getting good results just from doing CBD. But if you have the opportunity to do or find a full spectrum CBD, which means you're getting all the cannabinoids from the hemp plant, I would utilize that.
Okay.
That's really what helped me. I mean, I had sleep issues, and that's why I went on Xanax.
And so if she were to go seek that out, where would she go look for that then? When you say like a reputable, reputable location or source, is that a grocery store? Is that a nature store? Where would she go for that? Amazon?
I would probably like a lot of, yeah, no, no. Like at my pharmacy, there's a display of a very reputable company right on the counter. I would probably go to like a Whole Foods or a natural grocer of some sort. They would
Mm-hmm.
probably have your best bet.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people to start talking to your friends because you'd be surprised on how many people are actually users that you don't even know about.
Right. Well, that's what surprised
Because
me. Yeah, when we went to go post on
yeah,
this, like everybody, it's more common than you think now.
very common.
Colby on Twitter says, "How do you have a conversation with your employer about using?" Now he says CBD slash cannabis for medical purposes outside of office hours, but CBD and cannabis are two different things.
They are two different things, even though remember that you can get CBD out of the marijuana plant,
Right.
but the majority of that is going to have trace amounts of THC in it.
Okay.
Like I have police officers that are using my product, they're THC free. They went to their sergeant and
Mm-hmm.
told them that they were going to utilize it. They got put on desk duty, they got drug tested. They did not pop positive. It says on our website it's zero THC. So I would, tell that person or people, if you are working for a company who does drug test you, make sure the product is THC free. Bring it up to them if you're really worried, that you could get a drug test, even though I am 100% confident in my product. I can't speak for anybody else's product. That we've had doctors, professional athletes, several people using it, getting tested, and zero problem on passing a drug test. But I
Interesting.
would just bring it up.
Okay, bring it up and be real kind of forthcoming with them. But have you heard of repercussions because you get, employers have a bad reaction and they may or may not understand. Like they may have these same fundamental questions and maybe a little confusion over the products.
Um, I haven't really had that experience with people being confused about, which products to take once they understand CBD and getting products that are derived from the hemp plant versus the marijuana plant.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the professional world, I mean, like Joe Rogan endorses that for the MMA fighters.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Olympians. I mean, there's a lot of more professional athletes and teams and stuff coming forward saying that we would rather have our players on CBD versus the hard narcotics.
Right. Right. Yeah. For
Every
the pain.
day gets a little bit better.
Um, he had a follow-up question too, Colby. He said he wasn't familiar with CBD or marijuana slash hemp. How does one safely begin to utilize CBD without taking or using too much?
I always tell people, like, if you're using an oil tincture, it has a little dropper bottle in it. Just start off with a few drops under your tongue and see how you feel. I mean, maybe, it says a full dropper on most bottles and it's a 30-day supply, but a lot of people waste it. You don't need that much. So I always recommend starting small and working your way up. Your body is your best indicator on how much you need. And because, like I said earlier, you really can't take too much, but you could waste it because you might not need that much.
And when it comes to purchasing, I think you mentioned, if you're buying something that's under $20, it's probably not very good. So let's talk about the price point. Is it a better quality product just because it's more expensive, or how can you tell?
That's a really good question. I always look at the label and what ingredients are in there and go milliliters into milligrams. So if the bottle is like 4 ounces and there's only 200 milligrams of CBD, you're getting a diluted product.
Mm, interesting. That's a good way to look at it.
Bigger is not always better.
Bigger is not always better. Timothy on Twitter says it seems like CBD is looked upon as a cure-all. Where does the science show that it is most effective?
Oh God, well, I think it's a cure-all for a lot of stuff, to be honest with you, because a lot of as we spoke earlier, a lot of us are deficient because way back when hemp was, George Washington mandated every farmer to grow hemp, and when hemp was in abundance everywhere and animals were eating hemp and we were eating the animals, we didn't have these deficiencies. But now that we do, that's why all these problems are arising. So I just the science. I'm sorry. Would you repeat that question?
I think he mostly wants like a science-based answer because he's a little dubious that CBD seems to be billed as a cure-all. He wants to know, where does the science show that it is most effective? Whether is it pain management that it's most effective or some other kind of ailment?
Oh gosh, it just covers such a wide spectrum of stuff because of the two receptors in your body. So you think about this, you have your two main receptors, one in your brain and one in your stomach, and off of those you have a million little tentacles. And so wherever your body's lacking cannabinoids, that's where the CBD goes, and that's where and how it aids in what's going on. I mean, I can tell you profound stories about things that CBD has helped with that people didn't even know it was going to help with. Like I had a girl that had arthritis and she actually quit smoking because CBD helps with addictions.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes. And I know that sounds crazy. And it took me a long time to be able to wrap my head around that. Because this is so new, I wouldn't say there's a ton of science data out there to support that it's going to be, so to speak, a cure-all. I would never say that. But like I said, having over 1,000 people that I've worked with personally with CBD from every spectrum, from neuropathy to depression to anxiety to fibromyalgia to every kind of arthritis to Crohn's to cancer, you name it, everybody has felt better and their symptoms have either reduced or are completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it sounds crazy.
It does. It does sound crazy.
Snake oil. It does.
Like that's a pretty broad claim, that it has a positive impact for everybody. We do have some people tuning in live. I want to thank Dana, Travis, and Linda for submitting some questions live here. I wanted to throw one your way from Travis. He wants to know I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but he wants to know, how does somebody find reliable dosage information? Every website has differing info.
Well, that's because it's so hard to say what is the right, like it's not like an Advil where on the bottle it says take 2 every 6 hours. I mean, because everybody's body is so completely different and your deficiencies aren't like my deficiencies. So they can never say 10 milligrams is going to be the recommended dose for everybody. That's why they don't say that, because they can't, because no two bodies are alike.
Mm-hmm.
It's like DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why everybody always says start with a little bit and work your way up accordingly on how you feel.
That's good advice. Linda says, and this is probably a good caution for everyone, because we've done episodes about vitamins and supplements as well, and products, that aren't necessarily researched or approved by the FDA. Like we always caution people, if you're taking something that hasn't gone through that rigorous FDA approval process, it is sort of an enter at your own risk type of thing. Like Linda does say that she tried CBD oil for her arthritis under the tongue, didn't do a thing. She said, I would proceed with caution on any of these products because they're not regulated by the FDA. You don't know what you're taking. And, is there some measure of a caveat that we should offer folks here?
Well, like we were talking about hemp oil, I can't speak about the product that she was taking or the delivery system of the product she was taking. And I just know for me personally, not every product worked for me. So that's why I've tried so many different things. And, if you try it and it doesn't work, don't give up because I mean, I know cost is a factor and stuff and people don't want to waste their money. So that's why I always say buy it from somebody or somewhere you can return it if it doesn't work.
Hmm.
And the FDA doesn't support a lot of stuff. There's a ton of things out there that they don't endorse, but
Yeah.
we still take it.
Yeah.
Proteins and supplements and vitamins and stuff that's not FDA regulated. So as long as you know what your label has in it, your product has in it, then I think you're safe. I mean, if it has like 15, 20, 30 things in it, I wouldn't take it. I mean, anything that's a full spectrum, any CBD product should have no more than 4 ingredients in it.
That is a good piece of advice there, a good strategy. Just a reminder, we always create a tip sheet based on the information that our expert is sharing. So don't feel like you have to write this all down. We take the notes for you, and we'll be taking Dena's information and putting it back out to you as a tip sheet that you can just kind of easily glance at and reference and even share with your family and friends if that's possible. Any last advice that you would offer in this area for people who are completely new to this topic, or even for some that have tried it and maybe haven't had much success and maybe sparked into trying it again?
Well, as long as you know that your product is 100% THC free and it comes from a reputable source, just know that everybody needs CBD. And I'm not just saying that because I sell it. I'm only selling it because of what it did for me and my loved ones and people that I have brought to bringing it into their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that everybody needs. Everybody's body is deficient in it. And I highly recommend everybody trying it because it's really important. And don't give up if the first product you try, as long as it doesn't have fillers and fake stuff in it, doesn't work for you. There's a reason why I've tried 150 different products because not everyone worked for me the way I needed it to work. So
Yeah.
don't give up because it does help. It's just a matter of finding what works for you.
Interesting. All right. Hey, Dena, thank you so much for your insight into this topic and for sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of That Expert Show. Hope you got something out of it. I sure did. A lot of clarification for me between what is a THC product, hemp stuff, and CBD. I don't think I really understood the difference between the three before this show. So, you can always connect with us on Facebook. I'm at Anna Canzano on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at That Expert Show. We put all previous episodes on thatexpertshow.com along with the tip sheet that I mentioned. And we also put our episodes on YouTube as well. And we kick them back out to you as podcasts. Sometimes it's, easier just to listen to a podcast as you're running errands or working out or something. So check out Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, all those good places. Hope that you can join us for future episodes of That Expert Show. All the fun is in the audience participating and giving your thoughts and submitting your questions. So I really enjoyed that. Love what I do. Hope you enjoy it too. We'll see you next time on That Expert Show, where you help run the show.